Hello, Concordia Place parents. My name is Jessica Jacobi. I am an intern at Concordia Place. Welcome to this recorded webinar. In this webinar, we are going to talk about the transition to siblinghood and the period surrounding the birth of a second child. What does it imply in the change in status from an only child to an older sibling, and how best to support the older children? Throughout this webinar, we will talk about the positives as well as the possible changes of expanding your challenges. You will also learn many strategies to feel better equipped and have more tools to help your older child with this important transition. In this presentation, we are going to talk about understanding the transition, the preparation for a new sibling and why it's so important to prepare, the whole family transition, the emotionality around it, the child's individual differences in responding to the change, the older child's possible reactions, and we will thoughtfully discuss different strategies, but feel free as always to choose the strategies that feel right to your family, your child, and your own personality. Family expansion is a reset for the entire family clan. You are going through a process of mourning the past configuration, and you have to adapt little by little to a new dynamic and way of working. There are identity changes, such as now I am an older brother or sister. Now I am a parent of two. There are changes in the routines. Now my dad or my mom bathes me and makes me sleep all the time. I can't be with my oldest son or daughter as much as before. Changes occur in the environment and in the relationships. In the playroom, there are toys that are not mine, or my partner no longer sleeps with me at night. Changes occur in the relationship with each of the caregivers, where there is a loss of exclusivity in the bond with the primary caregiver. And all this implies tensions and readjustments and therefore time and process. It is essential to constantly reinforce the fact that we will continue to love and care for all our children. And although there is less availability, the love and care continues to be unconditional because it is one of the main fears of children with the arrival of a new sibling. Research has shown that preparation for siblinghood is considered by many writers to be essential for enhancing children's adjustment and avoiding some of the most common negative reactions to siblinghood that include direct aggression toward the baby, attention-seeking behavior, and regression. But how do you actually prepare children? Over the next slides, we will thoroughly discuss it. Welcoming a new baby into your family is exciting. At the same time, this important developmental transition can be a significant stress for parents and their young children. The birth of a sibling represents a complex period of adjustment for the firstborn child and for the whole family. Welcoming a second baby or third or fourth is a huge transition not only for the oldest child but for the whole family. Not only the child must prepare for the arrival of a new member, it is the whole family that must be involved and evolve in this new chapter. It is important you know that the adaptation does not occur all at once, but throughout time as both children grow and develop. For instance, there is a huge need for adaptation when the baby is born, and when the baby starts crawling and moving around and playing, there is another huge adaptation for the older child, as he may have to start sharing his toys and the wonder in all the adult family members. Additionally, the birth of a second child brings a reorganization of family relationships, including relationships with the firstborn, the partner, and the new baby. Most often, the older child's reaction is one of ambivalence, with both positive and negative behaviors. Wide individual differences seem to characterize the older child's reactions to the birth of a baby sibling. Some children appear deeply upset after the birth and may be aggressive toward the baby, whereas others may welcome the newcomer and experience little to no distress. The arrival of a new baby can cause older siblings to feel displaced, frustrated, angry, and even unloved. Keep in mind that day to day it is a lot. Children will have conflictual feelings, and that is okay. Imagine being an only child and having so much love and attention, only directed at you. How would you feel if suddenly you had to share your most loved ones with someone else and forever? A child could be asking, why is everyone around me saying how exciting this must feel for me? I kind of don't feel excited. I feel scared. Or why is everyone saying this is great? It feels pretty awful, only no one is mentioning it. The older child is going to have many feelings about their world changing. I suggest trying to empathize with the child's feelings, because if you only correct their behaviors, they can end up feeling lost, misunderstood, or alone. Instead, if you show them that you are at their side and that you understand that this transition is hard, they will be more receptive to opening up and learning positive ways to expressing those emotions. Validating our children's emotions help them become better in their ability to express what they feel, as well as feeling seen and understand that each person experiences the world in a unique and valid way. And be prepared that this will be a wave. Reactions will change over time as the baby grows and develops. Parents or other primary caregivers also will have lots of ambivalent feelings, meaning they can feel joy and happiness and at the same time wonder and a sense of incompetence or stress. Some caregivers will feel scared about their own capacities of rearing more than one child and may question their ability to cope and deal best with the older children's reactions once the new baby is brought home. Caregivers may wonder whether they will be able to handle such strong feelings of jealousy or challenging behaviors, which can be very overwhelming. It is good that not only do we help children cope with the transition, but that we too have self-compassion and ask for and accept help. Having a village is important because it takes a lot of physical and emotional work to raise a child, especially when you have more than one. There is a wrong belief that second-time parents no longer need assistance and support in infant care because they are experienced parents. Having a support system can make things a bit easier. Nowadays, most parents live far away from their own families. However, your village could be made up of family, friends, neighbors, or even other parents at your child's school or at the park. Accepting support means being open to receiving help and not feeling guilty or ashamed for needing it. Many parents feel like they should be able to handle everything on their own, but that is not always possible, realistic, or even positive. It takes a lot of strength and courage to admit when you need help, and it shows that you are putting your child's needs first. Extra support can ease stressors and can allow you to be more emotionally available and sensitive to care for your older child and newborn baby. It is also important to be aware of your own, your family, and your cultural expectations for this important transition, as well as for the changes in your family's roles. What new responsibilities is your older child gaining? Are they supposed to be in charge of certain routines in your family now that they became an older sibling? Or do you see your older child as still a baby with no added responsibilities and no changes in roles? The answers to these questions are absolutely unique for your family configuration and depend on your values, personal history, culture, and the society you live in. It can be helpful to take time to self-reflect and maybe jot down what you think about it and discuss it with your family, so everyone is kind of in the same page or in the loop. And if you expect changes in the older siblings' roles, you can also discuss them through words, symbolic play, books, or other resources, so that they begin to internalize and prepare for those changes. You can also discuss this with your child's schools if he goes to one, so they can support you in this preparation. As we have seen, the transition to siblinghood may be stressful for some children and their caregivers. Yet, individual differences seem to dominate the older siblings' reactions to the birth of their baby siblings. Children vary widely in their intensity of reaction and stress by the arrival of a newborn baby. We will briefly discuss what accounts for those differences: temperament and age. Children's temperament refers to their individual behavioral and emotional patterns that are given from birth. It can include traits such as shyness, activity level, adaptability, and emotional reactivity. Temperament, in addition to developmental level and age, which we will discuss in the next slide, and environment and family, accounts to why children react differently to the arrival of a baby sibling. Understanding your child's temperament can help you to prepare yourself and him with tools tailored to his specific personality. For instance, if your child thrives with routines, you can make a special effort to protect his routines from disruption. Or if your child needs to know from beforehand any changes, you can consider how much time and detail to give him and how often to talk about the new changes coming to your family. As I said in the previous slide, the age and developmental level of firstborns will impact their adjustment to becoming the older child. When children have more advanced cognitive and socio-emotional capacities, they have more social understanding, which better equips them with the needed tools to comprehend and tolerate the upcoming changes and solve conflicts. As they get older, they also have more tools to express their feelings and cope with the transition. Younger children's prefrontal brain is still developing, so they lack the capacity to use rational thinking, control impulses, and take perspective, especially in moments of stress. Younger children are also developing language and the ability to comprehend or use words to express themselves. Thus, your child's age and development can also help you to know how best to support him in the transition, as well as what kind of know what to expect. Let me give you an example. If your older child is already using language to express complex ideas, you can rely on verbal language to express most of the changes, discuss or ask questions, and tell stories. Or if you know your child is not capable yet to use rational thinking, you can tailor certain expectations and feel better equipped or prepared to accept his feelings. Welcoming a new baby to the family brings changes and transitions for all. Dealing with all the changes can cause some negative behavior patterns and regression on the older sibling. It is good to be prepared for those changes, to prepare ahead of time and respond with more mental availability. Children may go to an earlier stage in their development when a new baby arrives because being an older child can feel like a loss. Regressive behaviors are common in older siblings when a new baby is born. The older child could be thinking, this baby is being picked up all the time. Or, when the baby cries, he gets so much love and attention. I also want that attention. These behaviors involve reverting back to behaviors or habits that they had previously grown out of. For instance, they can start bedwetting, even though they no longer used to. They could be wanting to use a pacifier or thumb sucking. They can be wanting to be held more. They could be whining more or using baby talk. They may also have anxiety or separation anxiety or clinginess. They can have sleep changes and disturbances. They could be changes in their eating patterns or changes in toilet habits. It's good and useful to understand that these behaviors are often a sign that the older sibling is feeling anxious, uncertain, or overwhelmed by the arrival of the new baby, and may be seeking attention or reassurance from their parents. It is important for parents to be patient and understanding and to reassure the older sibling that they are still loved and valued. And know that your older child is still too young. He can still be a baby, even though you might feel he has grown so much since the newborn was born. In addition to regression, children can also display challenging behaviors, which might even be harder to deal with. Caregivers may feel ill-equipped with knowing how best to react and respond to their children's aggressive behaviors, as most of the times it is good to know that all these behaviors are the way your children are communicating their internal feelings. If their behaviors are understood with a lens of what feelings are behind, there will be more space between feeling and difficult behaviors. Older siblings may feel jealous of the attention that the new baby is receiving from their primary caregivers and other family members. This may manifest in behaviors such as tantrums, regression, or acting out. In an effort to regain attention from their adults, older siblings may exhibit attention-seeking behaviors, such as acting out, seeking negative attention, or even becoming overly helpful. Older siblings may feel resentful of the new baby, particularly if they feel that they are being forced to share their toys, space, or their caregiver's attention. The arrival of a new baby can be a big change for older siblings, and they may feel uncertain about their role in the family or how their life will be impacted. This can lead to anxiety, fear, or withdrawal. And in some cases, older siblings may exhibit aggressive behaviors towards the adults and the new baby, such as hitting, biting, or pushing, which can be a sign of frustration or of anger. It is important for parents to provide support and guidance to older siblings during this time and to help them adjust to their new role as big brother or sister. First, you have to breathe. This will help you have more mental availability. You can help your child co-regulate with your calmness and understanding. You can let them know you love them no matter what they do or how they behave. You have to set clear limits and stop unwanted behaviors with patience and kindness. You can help them express challenging feelings with words or put words into the unseen feelings. For example, if your child says, I want to throw baby to the garbage, you could say, I think you're telling me how hard it is to have a sister. I totally get that. Or I know it is hard and I understand that it is and I understand and that is okay. Let me give you a hug, but I won't let you hit her. Or if they say, I don't like the baby, take the baby back to the hospital. Instead of telling them, do not say that. This is super mean. You could tell them, come here. I know this is so new and so hard. I love you so much. Because when we change aggression into communication, children will become more able to change behaviors to showing feelings. They need practice and they need words. In the following slides, we will discuss some strategies for giving your child the big news. Research and experience have shown that it is always positive to tell the news to your older child before the baby is born. There's a lot of mixed guidance. Waiting until the baby is closer to coming versus telling in advance. However, it is not possible that any parenting advice could tell you exactly the perfect time to give the news. Even a 1-year-old baby will sense some changes in his or her parents' behavior or the family due to pregnancy and should be told in simple language about the new baby. However, how sooner or later should you tell your older child that they will have a newborn sibling? If you give them the news too early in the pregnancy, you can face the risk of miscarriage during the first trimester, or the child can become too impatient with expecting the baby to arrive soon after being told, or having too many anticipatory thoughts. On the other hand, when parents or caregivers wait too long, they run a risk that the child may learn about the pregnancy or the adoption for someone else, or feeling scared for all the changes happening around them and no one talking about them. In general, it can be scary to notice a change and not have it labeled or being told why. Why is my parent's belly getting bigger? Why is he or she sick? Why does she or he have no energy to play with me? Is your belly getting a lot bigger? Are you talking about it around your child? Is people around you talking about it in front of him or her? How is your energy level? Are you super stressed because of the adoption process? If you answered yes to most, then it could be better to tell your child sooner than later, so they can understand all those changes. If caregivers tell the children about the new baby coming, then it could be like, oh, that's why. It's not dangerous. My adults are not leaving me forever. It's the baby coming. Now I understand. Your family is unique, and this information can help you make a decision regarding when to give the news to your older child. In addition, forecasting the baby's arrival to a time that has meaning to your older child, like the baby will arrive soon after Halloween, may help children adopt a more realistic time frame. Telling your child that they will soon become an older brother or sister can be tricky. These are some details that you can consider. You could keep it simple and use simple language that they can understand. You can speak slow, not with too many people around, and in a calm moment. You can consider the use of visual aids like pictures or books. And make sure to frame the news in a positive way, and be aware that they may not show any response or reaction in the moment. Be prepared to answer their questions with authenticity and understanding. Repeat the message over the few weeks or months and continue to involve them in the preparations for the new baby. And accept all their emotions and reactions with empathy and compassion. For example, you could tell them, I want to tell you something big. It's kind of big news. It can be confusing. Mommy and Daddy and you are going to be welcoming a baby to our family. The baby's growing inside my belly. You were also here before you came out. When the baby is big enough, he will come out and live with us. Or you could tell, our family is getting bigger. Right after your birthday celebration, a new baby is coming home. Remember, every child is different and your family's configuration is unique. So it's important to approach this conversation in a way that works for your child's age and temperament as well as your unique family and life circumstances. Children need us to tell them what is going to happen. This helps them to feel that the world is predictable and reliable, and allows them to understand, integrate, and accept the changes that are about to happen in time. It is important to break the news of the pregnancy or the adoption into small and digestible pieces of information, such as, I have a little tiny baby in my belly. The baby is growing slowly, and when he or she is big and strong enough, we will meet them. Or, me and Granny are traveling for 2 days to pick up your little sister. Then we will bring her home and she will become part of our beautiful family. Explain to your child how certain routines at home are going to change. Like when the baby is big enough, he will let me know that it is time to go to the hospital. You will stay with Grandma at home for 2 nights and we can talk on the phone. Then you could say me, Daddy, or Granny or Auntie and the baby are coming home with you. The changes that the family is going to experience. Like, for instance, my belly is going to grow, or I will be more tired in the beginning. You can also tell your children what newborn babies do. Like, when the baby comes home, he or she will sleep a lot. And he won't eat food, he will only drink milk. I suggest that the information be given in a simple and concrete way, ideally in moments of love, calmness, and connection with them, and not all at once. The bond with your new baby is generated from the prenatal stage for parents, older children, and even aunties or grandparents. When the mother's belly starts growing, or when the parents see the baby in the ultrasounds, when parents feel the baby kick, the expectations, dreams, and the bond with the baby becomes stronger. This bond can also get stronger in this way for the older child. You can involve your child, inviting him or her to the last ultrasound if it feels good with your family, or you can ask him to help you set up the crib or fold the baby's clothes. As always, be careful to respect your older child's rhythms, interests, and desires without forcing to do things he does not want to. We will now discuss some strategies and tools that will help your child process what is happening or about to happen. If you usually read books with your child, reading books about becoming a big brother or sister is an excellent way to help them prepare for the transition to siblinghood. As you read together over and over and over again, you can connect what you see in the book to what is currently happening and to what will happen in your family. For example, if the book shows a mama with a baby in her belly, you can say, "Look, she has a baby in her belly just like mommy does." When when the big brother or sister in the book meets the baby for the first time, you can say, "Oh, look, Daniel Tiger is going to the hospital to meet his little sister. You're going to meet her here at the house." In addition to reading books, if your child enjoys playing symbolic play, it can be a valuable tool for helping children understand and cope with the transition to siblinghood. Your child can use his favorite toys, such as cars, trucks, stuffed animal dolls, or with whatever he or she loves playing with, to explore and process the new experiences and emotions regarding the arrival of his new sibling. Your child could explore games like feeding, singing a lullaby, comforting a crying bear, or taking care of a baby doll, or even a truck. In this way, he can explore his feelings and concerns about the new addition to the family and gain a sense of control over his new role as a sibling. For instance, you could say, "Oh, the truck's family is going to receive a new baby truck. How does the older truck feel?" Or "Mommy Bear is going to the hospital because baby is ready to meet his family," and then let the play unfold. Through play, children can access lots of themes and feelings. It is important that you help them process those feelings and accept whatever arises in the play. A family photo album can provide a visual history of the family's growth and change over time, and help the older children understand how they too grew in their mommy's tummy, or if they were adopted, how they met their parents the first time sleeping in their crib or meeting his pets. This allows them to empathize and feel connected with their newborn sibling. Looking at their older pictures, the older child can also visualize what to expect next with each new or uncertain step of the transition. You could say, "Let's look at the pictures of when you were a baby." And while watching the pictures, you could tell them the story. You could say, "You have grown so much. Oh, look, this is the first time you gave your first steps." When you and your child watch the photo album together, make sure to enjoy each other, to converse, to answer all their questions, and to have a nice quality moment together. Drawing is also a nice and deep way to process feelings, especially for older children. You can even suggest your child draws after you tell him or her the news, and let them draw whatever is in their mind, which could be related or not to the transition and the baby. When the baby is about to be born or come home, you can ask your child if he or she wants to draw something for him or her, or for while you are in or for you while you are in the hospital. Remember that whatever he decides to do is okay. This will give him or her an opportunity to feel involved. Now, in the following slides, we'll talk about some strategies for allowing your older child to be certain of how special and important he still is, or she. When your child sees you for the first time, you can be completely available to him or her. That means to let another person hold the baby. If it is possible, take the baby out of the room so that when the child enters, he has a couple of minutes of one-on-one alone time with you. Then have that person holding the baby enter the room. This also applies if your children meet for the first time at home. If you do not have a hospital visit, enter the house alone to see your older child. Avoid talking about the new baby immediately and instead tell him or her, "I miss you so much," or "Tell me what you did today in the morning," or "How was it going to the playground with grandpa?" Then introduce the baby. Every person is special. Find something specific about each of your children that you are crazy about, that you really enjoy about them. Tell each of them how special they are and how much you enjoy being with them. For instance, you could tell your oldest, "Ben, I am crazy about how creative you are, and the way you always problem solve. You amaze me. And you can tell the little one, Sarah, I love the way you look into each other's eyes and bring peace to the room. Also, avoid blaming changes or limitations on the baby. Instead, talk about what is happening as a matter of fact. Like, oh, I am tired. I did not sleep through the night yesterday. Instead of saying, oh, I am exhausted because the baby had a terrible night. Finally, try not to compare your children, like saying, oh, why can't you wait patiently just like your brother? Comparisons can put your children against each other. However, avoiding it and letting them know that each has a special and important role and place in your family can ease their feelings of jealousy or competition for your love and attention. Pair all of this with having one-on-one quality time. I will read you a poem I love that I think perfectly applies for letting each of your children know how special they are. It can apply for your first or your last child. I encourage to make this poem your own. The name is Dear My Third Baby. Words from Emma Heffy. You may not be my first baby, but I'm just as excited as the last time I saw your sibling smile. Then giggle, then sit, then crawl. I may have been here before, but it's not the same because you are unique, your own person, a new life that you experience differently than your siblings. I may have been here before, but what we go through go here together. Will always be our vision of our firsts and lasts. We are our own version of love. I may have been here before, but I'm happy that I'm here revisiting this again, viewing it through a new lens with you now. Because you may not be my first baby, but you are as special as the last. Sometimes, or most times, the quality and intensity of maternal interactions with the firstborn in the beginning decreases after the birth of a sibling. Most firstborn children never regain the level of parental attention they had before the baby's birth. Children might even feel uncertain or hypervigilant and think, does my world still look like the one I knew before? Being mindful or having one-on-one quality time between each parent and the older child is super helpful for helping the child adapt to the changes and sharing his family and his world. Parents can minimize feelings of jealousy between siblings by providing a supportive, nurturing environment that allows each child to feel secure and loved. Try to maintain your child's and family's routines and keep stability as much as possible. Your child's coping resources are overtaxed when several changes occur at the same time. The arrival of a new baby is not the best time to try to teach new skills, such as toilet training or sleeping through the night. It is important and not recommended to persuade your child to give up his crib or pacifier very close to the baby being born. If you plan on changing certain activities or routines, it is best to do so at least 3 months or more in advance or after the baby is born. When you have family and friends over, many times they come to meet the new baby. Even though it is super exciting to share with them everything about your newborn baby and everything around him or her, it is also important for your older child to receive attention, just like they did before the arrival of the baby. Ask family and friends to spend special time with the older child too, and tell them if you feel comfortable enough to talk with your older child about things other than the baby, or other than becoming the older child, or a big brother or sister, like what he or she ate before or for breakfast, or if they want to show you their latest drawings. Remember, welcoming a second child to your family will bring transitions, adjustments, and lots of ambivalent feelings. Letting your authentic self feel and be will allow your whole family to adjust to the changes. By being kind to yourself and your child, growth and resilience will be built over time. And this is the end of this presentation. I hope you found it useful and can tailor all that you learned here to your specific family and what makes sense to you. Bye bye.